I like books. I think you probably like books too if you click this video. I've been studying astrological magic for a number of years now. I studied with Chris Warnock, but I just wanted to show what my favorite books are and what I think are the most essential books for any aspiring astrological magician. So, the first one is a pretty, duh book. I mean, of course, this is the most important book for any astrological magician, and that is the Pikatrix, right? The Pikatrix. This is the classic. Everything else comes from this book. And this is my favorite translation, John Michael Greer and Chris Warnock. There are some other translations out. It's good to read them all, but this one is a decent price and it's translated by an actual practitioner, which is very important. Some of the other translations don't always get certain things right, which you need to get right if you want to actually use the recipes in here. So this is a ninth century Arabic book that was translated into Latin in the court of King Alfonso the Wise. And at a certain point, this book could get you burned. But this is also the source for Ficino, for Agrippa, for Simon Foreman, for all of the great astrological magicians. And so this Picatrix is, of course, the most essential book for any astrological magician. And this is like my beater copy that I like read and mark up and stuff. And then I also have a little hardback copy, the green edition, which has more of the gardening magic stuff in it here too. He has a couple different editions, but this is my like copy for putting in my nice bookcase. Okay, so the Picatrix, number one. Number two, let's go ahead and say Marsilio Ficino, three books on life. This is the edition to get. The translation by Cask and Clark. This is the best translation. And the third book is the most important book, but it's good to read all of these. And if you don't know who Marsilio Ficino is, he's probably the most important astrological magician of the Renaissance. He kind of helped kickstart the Renaissance, actually. He translated Plato. He translated the Hermetica. I mean, he was sort of the intellectual spark that helped people like Leonardo da Vinci and those great Renaissance artists catch fire. And he was the astrologer of the Medici family. So he was patronized by the Medicis, and they funded all of his translations and all of his work. And he looks at the goal of an astrologer to be a doctor of the soul, right? His father was a physician, and an astrological at that time, all doctors were astrological physicians as well. So that's why he knew astrology. But he sees that the real purpose is to be an astrologer of the soul, is to be a doctor of the soul, and that really speaks to me because in my that's my goal for as an astrologer. And in the Vedic lineage that I practice in, we look at the astrologer as a karma doctor, which is basically the same thing. And that this is the edition to get Cask and Clark, right? And I like, hardback's always nice, right? But this is what I found this edition actually at a library sale up in upstate New York for like 50 cents. And this is the Charles Bohr translation. So this is the first translation I actually read, and I got a lot out of it. But Warnock told me that I should get this one. This is better, so I did. But it was like when you just come across Ficino in a library sale for 50 cents. I mean, what a score. It's like one time I was dumpstering on Aldi's and I found like literally 20 pounds of brie, of triple cream brie. This was kind of one of those moments where like, hell yeah. Or like if I'm out in the woods and I come across like a big stand of morels, this is that kind of feeling where it's like, yeah. And that's what keeps you going to book sales and tramping out in the woods and such things. So, but this is a nice addition too. It's just like this is a little bit more heavyweight. So Marsilio Ficino, three books of life or three books on life. That's number two. So the third most essential book for an aspiring astrological magician, or really anybody practicing Western esotericism, would be the three books of occult philosophy by Cornelius Agrippa. This is classic book. And this book also draws on Ficino and the Pikatrix. So it's a natural progression. Pikatrix, Ficino, Agrippa. And this particular translation is from Eric Purdue. This was put out a few years ago, and this is the best translation. Eric Purdue is a traditional astrologer, so he actually knows what he's doing with the translation. It's better than the previous translation. However, if you this is like, a little bit of money to get. You can get it for free, the previous translation, which is serviceable. You can get that translation for free on archive.com or wherever you get your PDFs. But this is a nice set to have. It's really you know, I I like this set. So this is my number 3. Okay, number 4. And this is another ancient text with a recent translation. This is the Quindecum Stellis. And this was just put out by Chris Warnock and Regulus Hess. And this is actually kind of a critical edition, looking at all the different manuscripts of the Quindecum Stellis. And the Quindecum Stellis is a manual on the fixed stars and rings, making rings out of the fixed stars. And this is really just so crucial for doing any kind of fixed star magic, any fixed star elections. And it's a really the traditional source. So this is also a source then for 3 books of occult philosophy and for other books. So definitely get De Quindecum Stellis, and I'm probably saying that wrong anyway. Number 5, last one. There's a number of books by Christopher Warnock that I would recommend, but this one is my favorite. It's the book on the mansions of the moon. So, the mansions of the moon. And I just really like this book, how it's laid out. It's got some really wonderful illustrations. It's got practical steps for working with the mansions of the moon. And I like the mansions of the moon. So that's another important part for a well-rounded astrological magician is to know the mansions of the moon and know how to work with them. So those are my favorite and most essential top 5 books on astrological magic. Okay. If you want a reading with me, I practice mainly Vedic astrology for doing natal readings. You can email me at info@plantcunning.com. That's info@plantcunning.com to set up a reading with me. And with the Vedic astrology system, I'm looking at your natal horoscope as a map of your karma and trying to be a good soul doctor or karma doctor. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day, and I wish you luck with your astrological magic journey.